Hi, good day everyone. I'm Lucy Claire Rose Chesperad from studyhub group number 5. So, we have here the 14 learner-centered psychological principles that are divided into 4 categories. So, the first category is cognitive and metacognitive factors. So, under cognitive and metacognitive factors, we have 6 principles. And also, we have motivational and affective factors that also we have 3 principles. The next will be individual difference factors. And we have also 3 principles. Then the last category for the 14 learner-centered psychological principles are the developmental and social factors, and it has 2 principles. So now, we will discuss one by one each principle under each category.
Good day everyone, I am Trexie Ann Bibasco from BPID 1A. In this video, we will discuss about the learner-centered physiological principles. Why do future teacher needs to know about the learner-centered physiological principles? Let's find out. Learner-centered physiological principle pertain to all learners and learning process. Best understood as an organized set of the principles, no principles should be viewed in isolation. Taken from the principles developed by the American Physiological Association. In these learner-centered physiological principles, actually divided into 4 factor principles. The 4 factors are the cognitive and metacognitive factors, develop and affective factors, development and social factors, individual differences factors. For my assigned task, I will discuss under cognitive and metacognitive factors, which is have 3 principles. The first principles are nature of the learning process. The nature of the learning process, the learning is of complex subject matter is much effective when it is an intentional process of constructing meaning from information and experiences. Successful learners are active, goal and directed, self-regulating, responsible for their own learning. The second principle is the goal of learning process. The successful learner over time and with support and instructional guidance can create meaningful, coherent presentation of knowledge. The strategy nurture of learning requires students to be goal-directed. The third principle is construction of knowledge. The successful learner link new information with existing knowledge in meaningful ways. Knowledge widens and defends a student continue to build links between new information and experiences and their existing knowledge base. The nature of this thing can take variety of form, such as adding to modifying and reorganizing existing knowledge and skill. How should made or develop in different subject areas in among students with variety, talents, interests, and ability. That's all. Thank you. Hello everyone, I am Trexie Ann Bibasco. In this task, we will going to describe the factors affecting the learner-centered physiological principles. Learning is influenced by environmental factors including culture, technology, and
Good day, Coach Jode. My name is Chris Antonia Teipagubasan from BPED 1E. And my role of this video presentation is to give the meaning and example of Principle 4, 5, and 6. Principle 4 is strategic thinking. The successful learner can create and use repertoire of thinking, reasoning strategies to achieve complex learning goals. This is an example of strategic thinking based on experience, and it's often what happens to students today. Some of the students complain first before complying. They do also a lot of things and they don't have enough equipment or materials. We don't have enough time, but successful learners don't complain and instead see it was opportunity to learn because they have strategies thinking in the classroom or Google Meet. Example, you will be staying or playing. Principle 5. Thinking about thinking. Successful learner can reflect on how they think and learn. Set reasonable learning or performance goals. Select potentially appropriate learning strategy or methods, and monitor their progress towards these goals. Thinking about thinking, in other words, this is called metacognition. So, what did it say already? Think strategies for selecting and monitoring mental operation. Facilitate creative and critical thinking. So the student, they must have the ability to monitor their own learning and assess their strategies of learning, whether if it's effective or not. If it's not effective, then think another learning strategy or to be applied in the order to boost the own learning to the thinking about thinking or assessing your own learning if it's learning strategy but it is effective or not. Okay? So that's the 5 principles thinking about thinking. Principle 6. Context of learning. Learning is influenced by environmental factors including culture, technology, and instructional practices. I want to emphasize this so this would affect learning, cultural technology, and structural practices. So, as a future teacher, you must be sensitive with the culture of the student. So, make sure that whatever cultural background they have, whatever belief they have, you must have really accept those, and we have to be sensitive with their own culture because there must be quality inside the classroom or Google Meet. Technology as well, okay. We have to be used. We have to really maximize technology on order for us. To boost learning, we can use technology for searching, for presenting the lesson, and so on for instructional practices. Definitely, the quality of teaching. The quality of the teacher really matter what comes to learning. So, the factor could influence the learning process of so environmental factors play vital role in the learning of the student. That's the principle number 6.
Hi guys, good morning. I am Amabel Chanson Pena. I am from BPED 1E. Today, we're going to tackle
Hi everyone, my name is John Mark J. Bernardo from BPED 1E. Today, we're gonna identify the developmental influences on learning. Developmental influences are events that impact the dynamic interaction between an individual and their environment. This includes normative age-graded influences, which are life events that are typically based on chronological age. Then next is social influences on learning. The social environment influences learning by creating a language environment in an experience environment which stimulate the mind to grow, and by system. Hi guys, today we're gonna define the developmental influences, social influences, individual differences on learning. First, developmental influences. Based on my research, Piaget's theory of cognitive development claims that children are naturally curious and use exploration to make sense of the world around them. They discover and adapt to the world through exploration what is unfamiliar to them. Piaget believed that children's cognitive development was enriched as a result of this exploration and discovery, and this enrichment brings them from lower to higher mental structures. Piaget's theory involves four stages of development: sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operations, and formal operations. Elementary schools teachers elementary school teachers
So the number 13 learner-centered psychological principles is the learning and diversity. So in the learning and diversity, it is the same basic principles of learning, motivation, and effective instruction apply to all learners. So in learning and diversity, learning is most effective when indifferences in learners' linguistic, cultural, and social backgrounds are taken into account. And the last principle is the standard and assessment. So this is the last principle under the 14 learner-centered psychological principle, which is the standard assessment. So the last principle for the 14 learner-centered psychological is the standard and assessment. So assessment provides important information to both the learners and to the teachers at all stages in the learning process. And in my own research, standard and assessment setting appropriately high and challenging standards and assessing the learner as well as learning progress including diagnostic, process, and outcome assessment are integral parts of the learning process.